Hey guys, so I have another video. Hold on, I just gotta show you who's here with me. Look at Charlie Bear. Oh, don't get shy now, baby. You cutie bear. You cutie bear. He's like, leave me alone. Okay, so I just want to share my love for this specific doll, Addy. I think she is so cool. Like I shared in another video, I hadn't had a chance to see my niece since June, and near the end of June, I was feeling, kind of sad, so I decided just to window shop, and I decided to look up Addie because she had the same name as my niece, and the book Finding Freedom popped up, and with the doll, you know how they do. Um, and she's just so cute. Every time I've seen everybody's review of her, every time they get her, you guys, it only takes seconds for you guys to double her hair in volume. You're not actually supposed to brush her hair or even finger comb it. But I washed her hair twice. Well, I conditioned it twice to try to get it to be soft. And finally, I steamed it, and that seemed to really help. She has all the metals, but they all make noises. But the copper one just looks prettier with her outfit. Um, she's just so cute. She's got the hair knockers on. These are from like the 80s. And now they make them in flowers and crystals, not just the glass orbs or whatever they were before. But she's just so cute. And I just love her so much. Now, the deal with me is I actually, years before, had found one thrifting. And it was, Addy, you don't mind standing here for a minute, do you? And it was, sorry, I was cold. Now I'm getting warm. So, um, I had got one years before, and it was the number 23, and I had named her Latoya because the lady who had pulled her out of the little case for me at the Goodwill, her name was Latoya. And I was like, in my mind, I was like, oh, she'll just be black, because that name, usually it's just, um, well, I wouldn't say if it's just for black people. I think just the Jacksons came up with some really, because everyone knows Latoya Jackson. They came up with some really strange names, like Reby. I never heard of that name. Anyway, so let me get back on track. So I had gotten a number 23 and I had named her Latoya. But before that, I had gotten an American Girl horse. And that's how I started finding out about it because I was at the Goodwill bookstore and they had one. And I was like, oh, they usually just have books here. And from there, I got into the books. And, you know, um, I had got the horse and it turned out to be Penny from Felicity's story. But I named it Gunpowder after. Vanilla, what are you eating? Give me 1 second, guys. Vanilla, what are you eating here? So anyway, what was I saying? Um, so I had got the horse first, and I had named it Gunpowder from that movie Sleepy Hollow, with Johnny Depp and Christina Ricci. But it turned out to be Penny, and for me, Penny is one of the American Girls too because she's on the cover with Felicity. Now, if I'm getting Penny's name wrong, feel free to correct me. Um, but for me, Penny is one of the American Girls too, because she's even on the cover. And then from there, I got number 23, and I didn't find anything remarkable about the dolls. They weren't especially pretty, they were kind of ugly. I had some Journey Girls, and the price was right. They were cute, and I just wanted to have a little bit of everything in my collection. And I thought at the time 25 was so expensive for her because that's how much I got her for. No shoes, but she had some sort of track and field outfit, or PE outfit. And so, um, after everything happened and I haven't had a chance to see my niece, I got this little girl. And this really, really sweet. Well, I walked in and I told the guy, I was like, I'm shopping for myself. I want to look around. I think I know what I want because I was thinking, even though this one I had seen her, I was gonna get Courtney because I was born in 1986, and I was like, well, um, maybe I'll get Addy, but I was really leaning towards Courtney. And he passed me off to Ophelia in the pop-up shop. If you guys haven't seen what the pop-up shop looked like before the way it looks now, go look at Dollies and Rainbows video. She visits the pop-up shop, and that's what it looked like when I went there. And so I walk up, and they had Addy and Courtney right next to each other. And so Ophelia shows me around the entire store, and she was so sweet and nice to me. And she told me that she had Julie growing up, and she looked exactly like Julie too, except her eyes were blue. But she had the same facial features as Julie, the Josefina face sculpt. She had big, beautiful, pouty lips, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, Ophelia, you are Julie!" And she gave me a big hug at the end. But right before we finished up, I told her, she showed me the entire store, and I told her, I was like, which one should I get? I want to get Courtney because I was born in 1986, but I also really like Addy. And I don't think I had told her about my niece, Addy. Um, and it was just so nice shopping with her too, because like uh, kids would pop up and I would tell her, can we please go somewhere else? I'm not a kid. I don't want to ruin their experience with me being an adult shopper, you know? Yeah, since I went in there saying I was shopping for myself, I don't even think I mentioned my niece. I was like, I'm not going to fake the funk. I'm in here because I want a doll and I'm going to go home with maybe two. But I was good. I just got Addy. And when I stopped and I looked at Ophelia, I was like, which one should I get? And she looked at me and she was like, you should get Addy. And I did. I got Addy. I thought she was so cool. And ever since then I've been buying them. I think I'm up to 29 now. I was almost gonna buy one from the 60% off sale, but I changed my mind last minute because I had seen a YouTuber. Oh gosh, I wish I could remember the YouTuber. She had reviewed one, and I thought it was number 67, but she actually had the McKenna one. So then I was like, oh gosh, I really wanted the one she had because you YouTubers, you have a doll, and um, I want to get it, or I'm terrible. Like Kyla Collect said, oh, I really got to get a 62. So I went out one weekend and I got two. I was like, if she says she needs to have one, then I need two. Um, so where was I going with this? Just that I really love the doll, and then the storybooks, which I had been buying up. And I had chance to see the Kit movie, which was really sad. And it felt like the dad at the end kind of admitted to the fact that he was probably not going to come back, but he came back anyway with his tail between his legs. And then I saw the Samantha story, and I just love Nellie so much. And I miss Nellie was actually the doll that I thought was the ugliest doll in the entire world. And then you watch the movie and you fall in love with the character, and the actress who plays her is so cool. And her story is just so sad. But Nellie is just so cute. And I had a chance to get one for 35 bucks. And I was just like, I was still new to collecting. And I was like, no, I don't want to spend more than 25. You imagine? And she was in the box with all of her outfit and everything. And the person also had a Samantha and two other dolls. I don't remember. It was probably one of them was a Felicity and the other one I don't remember. But in this story, Addie's finding freedom. And let's just take a look at the book. Whispers of Freedom, Chapter 1. Addie Walker woke up late on a summer night to hear her papa whispering. She liked the sound. It made her feel safe. knowing her mother and father were close by. A small fire, sorry, the light is a little dim here. A small fire glowing in the hearth. It was the only light in the windowless cabin, but tonight it made her hot and uncomfortable. The stiff, dry corn husks stuffing her palate poked through her thin covering, sticking her. Addie's older brother Sam lay on his own pallet near her feet, and her baby sister Esther lay next to her. Esther's steamy breath was blowing on Addie's face. Addie loved Esther, but it was too hot to be close to her tonight. Addie tried to wiggle away from the baby. When she turned from Esther, her parents stopped talking. Hush, Ben, Mama said to Papa. I think Addie woke up. Addie kept her eyes closed, but she could feel the rustle and corn husks when her father got up. His feet softly crossed the dirt floor. That child asleep, Ruth, Papa said to Mama. Returning to their pallet, she returning to their pallet, she tired out. They had the children out in the fields half a day warming the tobacco plants. Ben, listen to me, Mama said. Her voice was serious. I don't think we should run now. The war's going to be over soon, and then we'll be free. Ruth, I've done told you before, them Union soldiers ain't nowhere near our part of North Carolina. They all the way clear on the other side of the state. Addie's father replied, who knows when we're going to be free? But Ben, we can't lose nothing by waiting. We will together here. Hold on, I don't understand that part. And somebody's talking to my dog through the window. My dog has a lot of friends. But Ben, we can't lose nothing by waiting. We all together here. That count for something, Mama argued. It should count, but you know it don't. With the war times hard, money is real tight for the master. A whole group of slaves was sold off the Grifford plantation because Master Grifford couldn't afford to feed them, Papa said. That was Master Grifford. Sorry. It's hard to see it when my eyes hold up. Master Stevens would never sell us. We work hard for him. He need me to do the sewing. He need you to do the carpentry work. Addie had never heard her mother speak so firmly. What about Sam? Papa went on. I got to drag him off his pallet when the morning woke horn sound. He get up grumbling about not wanting to work for the master, and he take his grumbling out into the fields. Sam don't run off once, and now he want to go fight in the war? If Sam don't watch it, he gonna be getting us all in trouble. Oh my gosh, the light's much better like that. There we go. Addie didn't like what she heard. She remembered when Sam had run off the year before, shortly before Esther was born. He was tracked down by Master Stevens' dogs and brought back. Sam was tied to a tree, and Master Stevens beat him with a whip. Addie screamed and cried, but her parents did not. They made blank, empty faces that made Addie angry. When the beating was over, Papa cried. Papa carried Sam back to the cabin, and Mama cleaned the blood from Sam's back. None of them said a word. Finally, Addie yelled to her parents, y'all don't care about Sam at all. Y'all not even crying. As soon as she said it, she felt bad. Just because you don't see us crying or carrying on don't mean we don't care, Papa had said softly. It don't mean we ain't crying either. Me and your mama crying on the inside. We ain't always free to show our feelings on the outside, but on the inside we's free. There's always freedom inside your head, Addy. Sorry. Uh, Freedom. That was what her parents were talking about tonight. But they were talking about a different kind of freedom. They were talking about the kind of freedom a slave had to run away to get. If Sam if Sam take off by himself a second time, we might never see him again, Mama said in a worried whisper. I want us all to be together. Sorry. It's hard when you can't be with the people that you love. I want us all to be together. And then there's a little picture on this book. Papa didn't answer right away. Then he said, Uncle Solomon told me that there was a set of railroad tracks about 10 miles after the river near the Grifford place. We follow them north till they cross another set of tracks. Where they cross, there's a white house with red shutters. It's a safe house. A white woman lived there named Miss Caroline. I want to think that this was maybe Caroline's great grandmother, but that just popped into my head. That's not something I've been thinking of. She gonna help us. We only got to get that far, Papa said. In the dark, Addy hugged Janie, the small rag doll Mama had made her. The doll she slept with every night. Her parents talked about running away, scared her. Her parents talked about running away, scared her. She had never heard them talk about it before. Whenever Sam talked about escaping, they told him to hush up. If we get caught, Master Stephen's gonna split us up for sure, Mama said, her voice shaky. Ain't nothing for sure, answered Papa, but we gotta take our chances while we get 'em. You can't go backing out on me now. I'm not backing out, Mama said. I'm just scared. You want to go all the way to Philadelphia. I ain't never been no farther than the Grifford plantation. What if we get lost from each other? We gonna get along. We gonna stay together. God will watch over us. You gotta believe we gonna make it north. Ruth, Papa sounded sure and strong. Addy knew he could protect them no matter what. Let's just wait a little longer. When the war's over, we all gonna be free. All of us right here, Mama said again. But Papa was firm. I hurt when I see Addy toting heavy water buckets to the fields, and when I see her working there, bent over like an old woman. Sam already 15, but she a little girl, 9 years old, as smart as they come. She go out in the morning, her eyes all bright and shiny with hope. By night, she comes stumbling in here, so tired. She can hardly eat. She getting beat down every day. I can't stand back and watch it no more. We can't wait for our freedom. We're gonna have to take it. Addy waited for her mother's answer, but none came. She heard her father rise. He went to the hearth and covered the coals with ashes. When Addy heard him lie down, her eyes popped open, but she couldn't see anything. In the thick darkness, Addy knew she had heard a secret that she must keep to herself, no matter how hot it burned inside her. She could feel Esther's breath on her back. Turning to face her sister, Addie moved closer and put her arms around her. The baby's breath did not feel too warm now. Addie was glad Esther was there with her. Let's just keep going. Sold, Chapter 2. Early the next morning, Addie was in the tobacco field, worming the plants. She and the other children moved from row to row, carefully pulling green, wiggly worms from the leaves. The worms were as fat as her finger, but Addie tried not to think about them. But, um, but instead, she dreamed about the kind of freedom Mama and Papa had talked about the night before, the kind slaves ran away for. She imagined herself learning to read and write, wearing fancy dresses that Mama could make her. By 11 o'clock, the sun was high overhead, and Addie felt as if she'd worked all day. She had just finished worming her row when it was time for her next chore, taking water to the field hands. The full bucket of water she carried was heavy. As Addie struggled with the bucket, sweat ran down her dark face and soaked the neck and her rough cotton shift. Sorry, I'm just aware that my nose is dripping a lot right now. I hope it's not catching on camera. But she liked this chore because she sometimes had a chance to see Sam and Papa. On this day, she saw Sam. As usual, he had a riddle for her. "Riddle me this," said Sam. "What's smaller than a dog but can put a bear on the run?" Addie thought hard, and Sam took the dipper from the bucket and poured some water over his head. From a few rows away, the overseer snarled, "That water's for drinking, boy." Addie saw a scowl come over Sam's face. He mumbled, "Even a horse gotta stop and cool off sometimes." "I better get on," Addie said, worried that the overseer might come over to them. He carried a whip. "Nah," Sam said, his face softening. He was as tall as Papa, but he was skinny when he smiled. Sam still looked like a little boy. "I ain't done drinking yet, and you ain't answered my riddle. What's smaller than a dog but can put a bear on the run?" he repeated. He took a drink while Addie looked to see where the overseer was. He had gone off in another direction. Addie crinkled up her eyebrow and said, "A skunk?" Oh my gosh, I guessed it the first time I read it, but right now I was like, I cannot remember. A skunk? You right. You too smart, girl. Pretty soon you gonna be riddling me, Sam said. Addie paused for a moment. She wanted to tell Sam what she had heard from their parents talking about the night before, but the escape plan was so dangerous that she could not share it with anyone. She had to keep it a secret inside. "See you later," Addie said to Sam before moving down the road to give the next field hand a drink. When the bucket was empty, she headed towards the kitchen to help Auntie Lula serve dinner to Master Stevens. Sorry, one second. Thank you. The kitchen was a small brick building behind the big house. Auntie Lula was ready for Addie to work as soon as Addie stepped into the building. "Wash your hands good," Auntie Lula said, "and take that tray of food and water to the dining room." "Yes, ma'am," Addie answered. She liked Auntie Lula, who was old enough to be Addie's grandmother. Auntie Lula's skin was light, and her rusty red hair was streaked with gray. She looked after Addie and her family, giving them medicine when they were sick. The dinner Auntie Lula had cooked for Master Stephen smelled so good that Addie ached for a bite. Ached for a bite of it. All she had for breakfast was cornmeal mush, and that was all. Excuse me, cornmeal mush, and that was all she would have for dinner. Maybe Auntie Lula would hide away a few scraps for Addie to eat today. Addie washed and dried her hands and then picked up the tray and hurried to the dining room. Master Stevens was sitting at the table with another white man. She set the food on the table and then poured water for both of them. As they began to eat, she went to stand quickly in the corner. You got that little girl trained real good, the man said to Master Stevens. I get them all trained real good, said Master Stevens. That's why it's such a shame to let any of them go. Uh, Addie's stomach turned when she heard Master Stevens say those words. What he mean let go? She wondered. But I have 22 slaves to clothe and feed this winter, Master Stevens went on, and you know how hard it is with the war. I need the money. Um, Addie stared at the floor, but she was. I'm sorry, give me 1 second. I just gotta wipe my nose. Thanks. Oh, darn, now I lost my place. Um, oh, here we go. And you know how hard that is with the war. I need the money. Addie stared at the floor, but she was listening very closely. She let her face go blank and empty. This boy you got for me, said the man. How can I be sure he won't run on me? I know he's run before. I taught him a lesson with a whip last time. He ran off, Master Stevens answered, and you'll have his father too. His father can control him. They were talking about Sam and Papa. Master Stevens was going to sell them. Her father had been right. Master Stevens was going to split up their family. More water, the strange man said, turning to Addie. Addie hurried to pour him more water. You sure you don't want to sell this one? The man asked Master Stevens, patting Addie on the head. Addie's hand shook. She wanted to pull away from his touch, to scream, but the blank look was frozen on her face. She filled the man's glass and stared and started to pour water for Master Stevens. She's too young now, Master Stevens replied. Maybe when she's a little older I'll let her go too, but then she might fetch a price as good as her brother. Addie was listening so hard that she forgot to pay attention to her task and filled Master Stevens' glass uh, too full. Water spilled on the table. See, I told you she's too young, Master Stevens said to the man. To Addie, he said sharply, go, girl, go get a rag and clean up this mess. Addie was glad to have a reason to run back to the kitchen. She burst through the door. Auntie Lula, she panted, that man's fixin' to take Sam and Papa with him. Master Stephen's gonna sell them. Auntie Lula looked worried, but when she spoke, her voice was calm. If that's true, we don't have much time, Auntie Lula said. Listen to me good now. Take your bucket and run to the well. Fill the bucket and head right to the fields where your brother and father at. But I already took water, Addie said. Hush up, child, Auntie Lula hissed. You a smart girl. Act like you think it's time for the afternoon water. Walk right out to Sam and your papa and tell them what you heard. If the man really coming for them, it's the one chance they get to run. I'll go I'll go back to the dining room. Grabbing the bucket, Addie ran to the well as fast as she could. Please don't let him take Sam and Papa. Please, God. She prayed silently as she ran. When Addie came to the well, she filled her bucket. She tried to run with it, but the water splashed crazily over the sides. With less than half of it left, she headed towards the field, walking as fast as she could. Her throat was dry. Sam, Papa, where you at? She screamed inside. Outside, her eyes desperately searching the huge field, Addie didn't notice the overseer until he stepped right into her path. Hey girl, he barked at her. What you think you doing? Addie was so startled that she dropped her bucket. "I came to bring the afternoon water," she said. "I ain't, it ain't time for their afternoon water, you stupid girl. Get out of here." Addie felt frantic, but she said nothing more. She picked up her bucket and ran back to the kitchen. When she got there, she saw her mother with Esther and Auntie Lula. "Mama," Addie began, but her mother cut her off. "Auntie Lula told me Master Stevens and the man headed for the barn." Sorry, I can't see. "Master Stevens and the man headed for the barn. Auntie Lula said maybe they got Sam and your papa there." Addie's head jerked up. Sorry, one second. Addie's head jerked up. Maybe she could still warn Sam and Papa. Addie raced out the door. "Addie," Mama called after her. "Wait." But Addie did not stop. She was not thinking, not praying, just running, running, running. When she came to the barn, she saw a wagon. Sam was in it, bound and gagged, shackled hand and foot. Master Stevens and the man from the dining room were standing next to the wagon. "Sam," Addie cried out when she reached the wagon. "Oh, please, Master Stevens," Addie begged. "Don't let them take Sam." "Get out of here, Addie," Master Stevens ordered. He had a whip in his hand. Then Addie heard a deeper voice. "Addie, go on now." It was her father's voice. But where was he? She looked down and saw him lying on the ground, his feet being chained by the overseer. Papa's face was covered uh with dirt, but it was calm. She ran to him, falling on the ground next to him. "Oh, Papa, no, no." She threw her arms around him. "Everything gonna be all right, honey. You you go on now," Papa said. There were no tears on his face, but Addie knew he was crying inside. "Go back, girl," Master Stevens barked. Addie heard his whip crack. She felt a lash of fire on her back, as if she had been burned. But still she held on to Papa. Master Stevens growled at her. "I told you to get. Now get before I whip you again." He reached for Addie and yanked her away from Papa. Addie fell backwards into her mother's arms. Mama held Addie close, both of them crying. This time, even Mama couldn't keep the pain hidden inside. I think we're going to just take a little break here. But chapter 3 is titled Chapter 3, A New Plan. Yeah, I got to take a break. I got to blow my nose properly. My back is kind of hurting from sitting here, but Charlie had taken my spot and he was so comfortable. I didn't want to interrupt him. So I really love Addie. I really love Addie. There's a part of the story that I'm just going to talk about right now where she says, I hate them so much." And her mama says, "No, you can't hate them. You can't hate people who don't know any better. It's their way," or something like that. And then she says, "When you hate, you don't leave room in your heart for love." And I just love Addie so much. I pulled her off that plantation so fast. She's a modern girl now. Anyway, thank you for letting me share that with you guys, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.